Have you ever had the ground ripped out from beneath you, just as you thought you were finally standing firm? My name's Melissa Parker, and the week my son Jacob finished his first year of college, our world turned upside down. For almost a decade, I'd poured my energy into a small-town diner, juggling late shifts, sticky menus, the laughter and stories of regulars. But when the owner passed away, his children swept everything out, including my job. You'd think after years of hard work, a new opportunity would be right around the corner. But the reality? Weeks stretched into months. The job market felt like an endless hallway of closed doors, and the bills stacked up like a cruel game of Jenga. Picture this. One morning, I walk outside and see the eviction notice flapping on our door like a white flag. I'll never forget Jacob's face. He didn't shout, didn't accuse. Instead, he hugged me with this quiet strength and whispered, "We'll figure this out together, Mom." That moment, equal parts heartbreak and hope planted a seed. You see, loss isn't just about money or property. It's about the tectonic shift in your sense of safety, the emotional infrastructure we call home. You might be thinking, "Melissa, how did you keep going?" The truth is, I didn't do it alone. Jacob's empathy was like a lifeline pulling me through the fog. I realized in that moment, adversity is like entropy, a force that tends to disorder, but also tests what's truly stable in our lives. Let me tell you, vulnerability isn't weakness. It's the first step in rebuilding. That's what I learned as we packed up our memories and stepped into the unknown, hearts heavy but hands clasped tightly together. Sometimes, life strips you down to remind you what can never be taken away, the love and resolve you share when crisis knocks at your door. Let's talk about humility. Imagine squeezing two lives, hopes, heartbreaks, and all into a single 120 square foot room at the back of a creaky boarding house. That's where Jacob and I landed. You might picture boarding house and think of a lively sitcom. In reality, it felt more like survival mode. Twin beds pressed against opposite walls, one battered dresser, and a window so stingy with sunlight it might as well have been painted shut. Here's where the psychological concept of adaptation comes in the way humans adjust, recalibrate, even when our comfort zones are steamrolled. At first, I was embarrassed. I'd always prided myself on giving Jacob space. Now, privacy was a memory, and every night the neighbors' arguments sank through paper-thin walls. Sometimes, the smell of cigarettes clung to our clothes, and I'd lie awake, stifling tears, hoping Jacob wouldn't hear. Now you might be thinking, how do you stay strong amid so much loss? One night, as I folded laundry, Jacob caught me crying. He sat beside me, no judgment, just a gentle hand on my shoulder. "Stop blaming yourself, Mom. You raised me strong. This isn't forever." That was the turning point. In that cramped, imperfect room, Jacob showed me what true dignity looks like, not in what we own, but in how we treat each other. We made the best of it. We thrifted a rug to warm the floor. Jacob painted a canvas with "keep going" in bold strokes, and we cooked on a hot plate, burning eggs and laughing, as if the world hadn't fractured around us. Those ordinary moments, once overlooked, became priceless in our new reality. The room was small, but inside it, the love and unity between us grew larger than I ever dreamed possible. Sometimes, you don't discover your true strength until your whole world shrinks. Every story has a pivot, a moment when hope sneaks back in. Ours arrived quietly. Jacob, ever determined, applied for a competitive scholarship at his college. He worked nights on his essay, hunched over our wobbly table, the blue glow of his laptop reflecting in tired but focused eyes. You know the feeling of putting everything on the line for a chance at something better? That's what he did. And he didn't even tell me at first. Maybe he didn't want to get my hopes up. Then came the envelope. I can still feel the tremble in his hands as he slid it across the table and whispered, "I got it, Mom." If you've ever experienced a moment of pure, unfiltered joy after months of hardship, you'll understand why tears rolled down my face. That scholarship wasn't just money, it was a lifeline. In economic terms, it boosted his social mobility, giving him access to education that might have slipped beyond our grasp. Now, you might ask, did this hope change you too? Absolutely. Jacob's grit was infectious. Watching him chase his dreams, despite adversity, lit a fire in me. I enrolled in a medical assisting course, a daunting leap, especially with my confidence at rock bottom. It was a risk, but sometimes fear is just a sign you're on the brink of growth. There were nights I wanted to quit bone-tired from scrubbing floors all day, then poring over medical terminology flashcards late into the evening. But Jacob would remind me, "Mom, you've spent your life taking care of me. It's time you take care of yourself." That support became the scaffolding for my self-belief. In hardship, the smallest victories, a scholarship, a past exam, become milestones. Each one a reminder. Resilience isn't about never falling. It's about rising every single time you do. So what happens when the storm finally passes? After a year of grit and sacrifice, I completed my training and landed a job as a medical assistant at the local clinic. It wasn't glamorous, think more paperwork than heroics. But for me, it was purpose, structure, and a steady paycheck. Around the same time, Jacob clinched an internship related to his field of study. With his scholarship, my new job, and his part-time work, we finally had enough to move out of the boarding room. Imagine the day we moved into our own modest apartment. It wasn't just unlocking a door, it felt like unlocking a new chapter. Jacob, ever the joker, lifted me over the threshold, and we laughed until our sides ached. The apartment was simple, no granite countertops or sprawling views, but it was ours. In real estate, they call this security of tenure. But for us, it was more than a contract. It was a symbol that we'd weathered the storm together. Now, let me ask you, what defines home for you? Is it the size of the rooms, the brand of appliances, or the warmth of the people you share it with? For Jacob and me, it was about the journey, the nights we comforted each other, the mornings we faced the world side by side, the hope we built from scratch. Our story isn't unique, but it is a testament to something universal: perseverance. Every setback became a plot twist. Every small win another thread in our family's tapestry. We transformed a place of loss into a launchpad for new dreams. If you're facing your own season of loss, hear this: storms do pass. Home isn't four walls and a roof. It's the people you hold close, the hope you refuse to surrender, and the love that outgrows even the smallest of spaces.